Woe to the world, my child, woe to the heart that clings to its allurements and its vanities. It is not enough to cast Satan out of your heart, you must also expel the world. If you inwardly cherish the world, whatever else you may do, wholly to amend yourself, shall be of little help to you, for the world will continue to infect your heart, will doubtless pervert and finally betray you into the power of the demon. What is the world except an inordinate or perverse love of pleasure, riches, honours, whereby its voluntaries are themselves corrupted and corrupt others? If you desire to know what you ought to think of the world, consider what I myself have judged of it. Behold, I pass through life doing good to all. I loved the enemies that persecuted me when fastened to the cross. I prayed for those that crucified me, but for the world I prayed not. The world is of the devil, is wholly placed in wickedness, and cannot possess my spirit, even as falsehood cannot be truth, as corruption cannot be purity. The world is itself a proof, not only of the undeniable existence, but even of the necessity of a hell. What can there be in common between the world and my heart, since the world either openly or secretly favours every vice, while my heart breathes nothing except what is holy? The world in league with Satan, its prince, seeks for souls to destroy them forever. My heart longs to save them all. You cannot therefore serve the world and me, for if you are the friend of the world, you become the enemy of my heart. If you are a voluntary of the world, you will perish with the world. But if you follow my heart, you will go into life everlasting. If you drive the world and the maxims of the world from your heart, so as to offer it wholly to me, the offering will be pleasing and honourable to me, and full of the full glory and merits to yourself. The angels and the saints who applaud the deeds, and the world itself shall be compelled to admire the lofty heroism of your mind. Blessed is he, my child, who withdraws his affection from the things of the world and consecrates them to me alone. What do you find in the world on account of which you would love it? Behold, all that is in the world is the desire of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, and at the end of all these is death and hell. If then you love the world or the things which are of the world, you take into your embrace everlasting perdition. What good has the world done to you that you would devote your affections to it? It has done and never will do you anything but evil. How then can you give your heart to it? Trust not, my child, the smiles and blandishments of the world. They show only a covert desire to deceive and destroy you. But hearken to the invitations of my heart, that longs to save you from everlasting misfortunes, which the world is preparing for you. If you do not forsake the world will forsake you. When you are spent and worn out in its service, it will lavish and mock at your destruction. And when you stand most in need of help, you shall be alone and powerless. Think frequently which of the two, when you are about to go into eternity, you shall rather wish to have followed, the world or me. Do freely therefore and meritoriously now what without merit you shall be forced to do then. Apply yourself to withdraw your heart of the love of earthly things, and by a complete disengagement from it, to triumph over the world. Have confidence, my child, I shall overcome the world. If you are willing, you can also vanquish it. So soon as you shall have conquered, I will give you a most delightful place in my heart. My child, the whole world is made up of deceit, and by its arts and wiles it alludes to itself the unwary. It holds out to man pleasures, honours, and riches, and says, all these things will I give you, if you serve me. but do not attend to what it promises, but to what it gives. Through the deceitful hope of pleasant things, it brings its voluntaries beneath the cruel tyranny of the passions, and then leads them to the ceaseless tortures of the stings of conscience. Did you ever find a worldling, even the most fortunate, whose heart was in every way satisfied? Neither shall you find such a one, even if you search the whole earth. The world indeed promises good things, but in reality it bestows true evils only, because what it gives makes man wicked, and hinders him by no means from being truly happy. Even so, my child, grant they abound in whatever things they may lust after in this world. As they possess them with an inordinate affection, and misuse them, they enjoy them not, except for their present and future happiness. Besides, they appear indeed not to care for the interior tortures of the soul. But my child, if you could look as I do into their hearts, you should see how many things they suffer within, which they endeavour to hide outwardly, and you would conclude that the happiness of man consists not in having an abundance of the things of this world, but rather that he keeps his heart free from every worldly object, and calmly and permanently satisfied in me. Moreover, how long shall these things of the world last? Behold, yet a little while, and eternity shall summon them to appear. What then shall the plentifulness of delights and other things avail them? They shall leave the world taking with them nothing, except the load of their sins. Would you then be willing for the misuse of the things of time to lose the use of those of eternity, or for the false possessions of earth to forfeit the true riches of heaven? My child, if you cling to the world, you cease in fact to be a Christian, and you forfeit the possessions of all the privileges which belong to the noble name. For at your new birth, in the waters of baptism, you did by a solemn promise made before heaven and earth renounce the world and its wickedness. Nor would I without that promise adopted you as my child. If after this you go again over to the party of the world, you are not only faithless, but even worse than the heathen who made no such promise. For it is better not to promise than not to make good what is promised. Ask the departed what they think of the world. The elect will answer that their happiness began from the time they learned to despise the things of the earth, and the reprobate will reply that they were deceived and ruined by the world. Yourself, my child, shall one day think and experience concerning the world the one or the other of these things. Be timely wise, my child, lest hereafter you feel sorrow to no purpose. Follow the footprints of the saints by withdrawing your heart from the world and keeping your affection from it continual. Use the things of this world as if you did not use them, and while you tread the earth with your foot, have your heart in heaven. The more you shall withdraw yourself from creatures, the nearer you shall come to the Creator, and the more proper shall you be to receive divine gifts. If your heart be wholly disengaged from the world, so far from being hurtful to you, the world itself will be in many ways subservient to your interests. Oh, how base the whole world would grow in your sight if you did truly consider what awaits you in eternity.